Imagine a world beyond our own, a civilization of unimaginable wealth and power, whose people were demigods and whose technology surpassed even our wildest dreams. A city of concentric rings of land and water, crowned with temples of gold and silver, pulsing with an energy that could command the heavens. Then, in a single day and night of misfortune, it vanished. Swallowed by the sea, erased from history, leaving behind only a whisper that has haunted humanity for over 2,000 years, the whisper of Atlantis. Welcome to Hidden Past, where we unearth the stories the world tried to forget. Tonight, we journey into the depths of history and myth, seeking the truth behind one of civilization's greatest mysteries. Was Atlantis a cautionary tale invented by a philosopher? Or was it a real, forgotten empire whose ruins lie waiting to be discovered? Our story begins not in the depths of the ocean, but in the heart of ancient Greece, around 360 BC, with one of history's greatest minds, the philosopher Plato. In two of his dialogues, Timaeus and Critias, he introduces the world to a story unlike any other. A story told to him through generations, originating from the wise Athenian statesman Solon, who heard it from Egyptian priests. According to Plato, 9,000 years before his time, beyond the Pillars of Hercules, what we now call the Strait of Gibraltar lay, an island larger than Libya and Asia combined. This was the heart of the Atlantean Empire. It was a paradise founded by Poseidon, the god of the sea, who fell in love with a mortal woman named Crete. For her, he sculpted the island into perfect concentric circles of land and water, a masterpiece of divine engineering. He fathered 5 pairs of twin sons, who became the 10 kings of Atlantis, ruling over a magnificent and benevolent empire. The capital city was a marvel. Its outermost wall was coated in brass, the middle in tin, and the inner Acropolis wall gleamed with orichalcum, a mysterious red gold metal said to be second only to gold in value. Aqueducts carried hot and cold springs to elaborate baths for kings and commoners alike. The harbors were filled with triremes and bustling with merchants from every corner of the known world. The land was so fertile it produced harvests a year, providing an abundance of food for its people and animals, including elephants. The Atlanteans weren't just wealthy, they were a society in perfect harmony with nature and the gods. They were virtuous, noble, and just, but history has a strange way of punishing pride. For generations, the divine nature of the kings kept their empire righteous, but as their divine blood thinned with each passing generation of mortal union, something began to change. Human greed crept in. They became filled with unrighteous avarice and power. Their virtue faded, replaced by an insatiable hunger for conquest. They marshaled their immense armies and fleets, setting their sights on the rest of the world, seeking to enslave Europe and Asia, their first target. The city of Athens, Plato's own beloved home. Plato paints a picture of a dramatic showdown, the unstoppable force of the corrupt Atlantean superpower against the immovable object of a small but virtuous ancient Athens. Athens stood alone, its allies having deserted them in fear. Yet, they fought with unmatched bravery and, against all odds, defeated the mighty Atlantean invaders, liberating the oppressed peoples in their wake. But the final judgment on Atlantis would not come from the hands of men. Just as the war reached its climax, the gods, led by Zeus, looked down upon the debased civilization and decided its fate. In Plato's chilling words, there occurred violent earthquakes and floods. And in a single day and night of misfortune, the island of Atlantis, in like manner, disappeared in the depths of the sea. The greatest empire the world had ever known was wiped from existence, its memory serving as a stark warning against hubris and the corrupting influence of power. A story seemingly lost to time, or was it intentionally erased? For centuries, Plato's account was largely accepted as history. But as the age of reason dawned, scholars began to question it. Was this a literal, historical account? Or was it an allegory, a philosophical fable created by Plato to illustrate his ideas about the ideal state, using a fictional, corrupt Atlantis as a foil to his virtuous, ancient Athens? This is where the story splits, where the hunt truly begins. The skeptic's case is strong. There is no mention of Atlantis in any other ancient text from that period. Not from Herodotus, the father of history, nor from any other Greek writer. The only source is Plato. Could an empire so vast and powerful exist for thousands of years and leave no other trace? Geologists also point out that an entire continent-sized island sinking in the Atlantic Ocean in a single day is simply not possible under our current understanding of plate tectonics. The story seems too perfect to convenient for Plato's philosophical argument. And yet, the pull of Atlantis is too strong to dismiss as mere fiction. For every skeptic, there is a believer armed with intriguing clues and tantalizing possibilities. The hunt for the Lost City has taken explorers from the sun-drenched islands of the Mediterranean to the frozen plains of Antarctica. One of the most compelling theories points to a real historical catastrophe, the volcanic eruption of Thera, now the island of Santorini. Around 1600 BC, this was one of the largest volcanic events in human history. The eruption blew the center out of the island, creating a massive caldera and triggering tsunamis that would have devastated coastal communities across the Aegean Sea. On this island thrived the Minoan civilization, a highly advanced Bronze Age culture with incredible art, sophisticated architecture, and a powerful navy that dominated trade. They had palaces with advanced plumbing, vibrant frescoes, and a society that mysteriously collapsed right around the time of the eruption. Could the Minoan civilization on Thera be the real-life inspiration for Plato's Atlantis? The parallels are striking. A powerful, advanced island civilization with a strong navy, destroyed by a natural cataclysm. The timeline doesn't match Plato's 9,000 years, but some argue that was a mistranslation from Egyptian, and it should have been 900 years, placing the event squarely in the Minoan era. The concentric rings, perhaps a poetic description of the caldera left by the volcano. The story of Atlantis, then, wouldn't be a complete fabrication, but a memory of a real trauma passed down and mythologized over centuries until it reached Plato. But the search doesn't end in the Aegean. Some look to the coast of Spain, near the Donana National Park, where satellite imagery has revealed strange rectangular shapes submerged in the mudflats, formations that some researchers claim are the remains of an ancient city. Could this be Tartessos, a wealthy, lost city mentioned in other ancient texts, and perhaps the real Atlantis? Others have proposed locations near the Azores, in the Caribbean, the Bimini Road, and even in South America. Each theory is a rabbit hole of its own, blending archaeology, geology, and a healthy dose of speculation. The legend was famously reignited in the 19th century by a former U.S. congressman, Ignatius Donnelly. His 1882 book, Atlantis, The Antediluvian World, became a bestseller, arguing that Atlantis was not just real, but the mother culture of all ancient civilizations from the Egyptians to the Maya. He claimed that the gods of ancient myth were its kings and queens, and that it was the original source of our alphabet, metallurgy, and agriculture. Donnelly's work cemented Atlantis in the modern imagination, transforming it from a philosophical tale into a grand, romantic quest for a lost utopia, a motherland of humanity. How? Where does that leave us? Standing on the shore, looking out at an ocean that holds its secrets close, Atlantis is a paradox. Its non-existence is as unprovable as its existence. No shipwreck has ever been found, no golden temple located, no definitive proof unearthed. Yet the story endures. It speaks to a deep human longing for a golden age, for a lost paradise, for proof that we were once greater than we are now. It's a reflection of our own hopes and fears, our dreams of perfection, and our anxieties about our own self-destruction. Perhaps the true power of Atlantis isn't whether it existed as a city of gold and or calcum. Perhaps its true power lies in the question it forces us to ask. Are we heeding its warning? As our own civilization grapples with power, greed, and the potential for environmental catastrophe, the story of Atlantis feels less like an ancient myth and more like a chilling prophecy. The greatest mystery may not be where Atlantis is, but whether we are living in it right now, on the brink of our own single day and night of misfortune. The search will continue. New technologies will allow us to map the seafloor in greater detail than ever before. New archaeological discoveries may shed light on Plato's sources. The legend of Atlantis is not dead. It is simply sleeping, waiting in the deep for the day it will rise again, either in fact or in our imagination. If you love stories that the world tried to forget and want to continue exploring the greatest mysteries of our past, subscribe for more tales from Hidden Past. Thanks for watching.